on air. No, that's good. Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Mucky Duck, how we doing?
Man,
See everybody out in internet land. So we're gonna put a mic in front here, and then we're just gonna cut and paste. Just
right. We're gonna put a chorus pedal on it.
yes. What have you the studio sound from like the 50s and 60s, right? Just the same track. The live studio audience.
That's gonna be great. Well,
No.
Alex, thank you for having me this evening.
Absolutely, and I
This
wanted
was
to.
your show. You just graciously agreed to let me crash it with you.
Well, no, I've been advocating to get you out here for a long time, and I'm glad that I had an opportunity to invite you to come. I'm so excited for everybody, all the subscribers out in internet land, both my page and the Mucky Ducks page, to be able to get a chance to listen to your songs. And I'm a huge fan of Scott's, and always have been. He's done so much for me while I'm trying to figure out this whole songwriting game. And the least that I could do was invite him to Houston. He made the drive down from Poetry, Texas.
Yep.
And that's a great town to live in as a songwriter.
It is.
I think that was divine.
I think so too.
But I'm really excited to have him here, and I want to invite him to go first and share his song first, and then I'll go, because I want to get as many Scott Sean White songs on air out there to internet world and here for you guys as I possibly can. And I have the best seat in the house, so I'm just going to take a seat back. I have my Lone Star ready to go. Sir, please.
You do have a cold Lone Star.
I do.
Don't you?
Ready to go.
Well, I sure do appreciate you. And I appreciate y'all for showing up. I'm going to start with a song off this little songwriter record that I made and put out back in April. I wrote this song. It started on my way down the Songwriter Serenade back in like 2019, before the Great Separation. And I was thinking about being famous. How when we're younger, most of us want to be famous, right? For me, my version of that was I was a musician, I was in a band, and wanted to be selling out stadiums and arenas everywhere and be a rock star kind of thing, right? But as I got older, I figured out there's a lot better things to be famous for, a lot bigger things. As I got a wife and raised a family. So that's what I was thinking about when I wrote the song. And then one night in May of 2020, I did a show at Love and War in Texas, in Plano, and my whole family was in town. My youngest daughter and her husband were in town from Arkansas, and my youngest daughter lives not too far from us, so they all came to the show, and it was the first time my granddaughter Kaya had seen me play, had seen her pawpaw play. And when I played this song, she sat right on the front step of the stage there at Love and War and watched the whole thing. And I thought, if I had written this song directed at any one person, it would have been her. So the title of the song that night changed. It was called Right Reasons, but on my CD you will see that I added her name to the end of it. It says Right Reasons for Kaya in parentheses. So for all the grandkids and kids and all of us folks who wanted to be famous for something foolish. In a city full of concrete, be the blade of grass sticking through the sidewalk. In a circus tent full of tight ropes, be the net. In a long week full of Mondays, be asleep in Sunday morning. In a casino full of penny slides, be $1 million long shot bet. And if you gotta be guilty of all the good things. If you wanna be rich in all the real ways. If you gotta be crazy like Jesus. If you wanna be famous, make sure you're famous for all the right reasons. In a summer full of 103, be a water fight out in the front yard. In a kitchen drawer full of scissors, be the tape. In an ocean full of hurricane, be the rock that holds the anchor. In a prison full of walls, be the key that opens the gate. And if you gotta be guilty of all the good things. If you wanna be rich in all the real ways. If you gotta be crazy like Jesus. If you wanna be famous, make sure you're famous for all the right reasons. There's a lot of things that you can be, but you won't end up something you're proud of accidentally. So if you gotta be guilty of all the good things. If you wanna be rich in all the real ways. If you gotta be crazy like Jesus. If you wanna be famous, make sure you're famous for all the right reasons. If you wanna be famous, make sure you're famous for all the right reasons. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
See what I'm talking about? Just shoot myself in the foot, inviting the heavy hitters.
You're pretty good at this thing.
Oh, man. Can't tell you how big of a fan I am of Scott's songs. And we've gotten into some songwriting adventures together.
We have.
In the few short years we've known each other, gone on.
It's been fun.
14-hour road trips to go hear other songwriters and work on songs and listen to songs and discover new songs and meet a whole lot of new people, and it's truly been a blessing. When I kind of decided that I wanted to jump into songwriting, I had a brand new, fresh baby boy, and I went to Red River, New Mexico for a songwriting workshop, and Scott and I had been up there for the Songwriters Festival. And he was, man, so new. I think he was maybe 3 months at the most. And my wife at the time, I told her, I said, you know, I really think I'm being called to go there, and I think this is what I need to do. And she let me go. She supported me, let me go. And right around that time, I came home. I had been living in Houston for about 8 years at that time, and I got to experience all the awesomeness that is Houston flooding. In multiple occasions. It was tax day, and then it was Hurricane Harvey, and it's a Wednesday, let's flood today, you know, whatever. No name behind it. And that's it, yeah. Every year we have a 500-year flood. But I was working on songwriting and stuck in the house. Hurricane Harvey was sitting right over us, and he didn't want to go anywhere for a couple days, and the water was coming all the way up to the house, and it would go away. And I had this brand new baby boy, and we're sitting at the table, and I'm kind of working through my songwriting notes and trying to come up with a song. And this is just one of those that just kind of fell out. It not really a relationship song, but mostly just, you know, talking about how anything really good in your life, it starts as a drizzle and sometimes gets a little bit heavier, and sometimes you can find yourself in the middle of the hurricane, but if you're around the type of people you need to be with, I'm a firm believer that you can make it out of the other end. So I wrote this song with that little boy at the table. It's called The Flood. I remember, it's fresh on my mind, the kind of storm that could hit you in a moment and change your life. How could we ever have seen it coming? I said, don't worry, take my hand and we can make it out alive. 'Cause I will be here when the clouds clear in the morning. I will hold you as the water starts to rise. I could feel it, the flood coming. Your love rushing over me like a wild river. Fireworks and lightning were ringing in the new year. Still that sky went dark and the world seemed to disappear. You were the only light before me, the kind of beacon I needed to help me weather the storm. And I will be here when the clouds clear in the morning. I will hold you as the water starts to rise. I could feel it, the flood coming. Your love rushing over me like a wild river. And when the water breaks the levee and it's too high to go alone, pull me in and hold me close. We can always make it out when the water comes rushing in. And there's no one else in the world I'd rather be swept away with. I could feel it, the flood coming. Your love rushing over me like a wild river. Flood coming, your love rushing over me like a wild river. Thank you.
I love that song. I never heard the part of the story where your son was right there while you were writing it.
Oh, yeah.
That's really cool. I love it. Well, okay, so newborn children in the mix. Okay, I can do that. Or some version of that, right?
Yeah.
This is a song off of my album also. This song was born on my porch in Poetry, Texas, and Jim has heard this story. I don't know if Alex has heard the whole story, kind of the way it's put together now, but I'm going to tell it anyway. For all those folks watching online. When I wrote this song, it was born on my porch in Poetry, Texas. This line popped in my head. It said, They got married by Elvis in a drive-through chapel in Vegas. And I thought to myself, what the heck is that about? And so I started running down that road, got it kind of started. And then I took it to my buddy Jared Hart in Nashville, and we spent a couple of different days writing this song. And the funny thing is, and this happens with songwriting sometimes, it's one of the reasons I love it so much. The song is completely made up. And somehow at the same time, it's completely true about my wife and me. So I'm going to tell you the real story, and then I'm going to sing you the made up one. It's like this. In 1989, this pretty young lady walked into a car dealership in Dallas, Texas to buy a car. And I sold cars, Alex. So I sold her one. And I gave her my card and I said, hey, call me. And she did. We went out. It went pretty good. So we went out again and again and again. And then we did something while we were going out that you're not really supposed to do. We made a baby, which is not the order that usually goes in. Do you know anything about that?
I go to church, sir.
And so anyway, back to my story. So we were both determined to give that baby the best chance it could have at having two parents. So we got to the business of getting to know each other. I mean, really getting to know each other. And on Valentine's Day in 1990, I knew that I loved her, so I asked her to marry me at the dinner table in front of my mom, because who's going to say no in front of mom? Sucker! About 5 weeks later, we had that baby. About 5 months later, we got married at the Justice of the Peace in Garland, Texas. And when we got to the part where we put the rings on each other's fingers, we hadn't had time to get them sized yet. And they were way too big, so when we put them on each other's fingers and put our hands down at our sides, they fell right off our fingers and bounced all over the tile floor in the courthouse. Literally. Just ding, 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 ding. That Justice of the Peace kind of rolled his eyes a little bit, shook his head a little bit. I know he was thinking, man, these kids don't have a chance in hell. And I thought the same thing. I ain't mad at him. But here's the deal. On August 10th of this year, we celebrated our 31st wedding anniversary.
Nice.
Thank you very much. By the grace of God and the grace of my wife, no doubt. My favorite part of that story is that God didn't look at us and say, you didn't start the way I told you to, so you're on your own. Good luck. I'm out. He had grace for us. So it's a pretty crazy way to start and still be here all these years later, but crazy's only crazy till it works. They got married by Elvis in a drive-through chapel in Vegas. They knew it was crazy, thought, hell, what if we make it? How could it be to tell the children and the grandchildren there was 1,000,001 shot and we were the 1 in 1,000,000? She sold waffles and eggs, hot coffee and smiles at the diner. He sold Subarus and Hondas and one-liners. He was a loser, but thank God she was a finder. He was a misser all day, she was a lover all-nighter. Dreams can still be dreams after you wake up. And fights are only fights until you make up. Brave is only brave if there's a chance he's gonna hurt. And crazy's only crazy till it works. They gave $2,500 to a roughneck in Laredo for a flat-nosed fixer-upper Winnebago. He sold everything except his Martin and her daddy's mandolin. He said, trust me, baby, whatever comes, we can handle it. And dreams can still be dreams after you wake up. And fights are only fights until you make up. Brave is only back and realize that all along this wild, wild ride, all the wrong turns turned out right. And dreams can still be dreams after you wake up. And fights are only fights until you make up. Brave is only brave if there's a chance it's gonna hurt. And crazy's only crazy till it works. Yeah, crazy's only crazy till it works. They got married by Elvis in a drive-through chapel in Vegas. They knew it was crazy. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
You had a newborn in the real story.
Yeah, that works.
And I didn't know that I put the thing in there about the guy selling cars. I didn't realize I'd even put that in there. That's the one detail that is true about Brenda and me, until the first time I played the song out live. And as I'm singing the song and that line goes by, I'm like, oh, check that out. I sold cars. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, Alex. I don't know if you figured that out yet.
You're pretty sharp. But I didn't. So I met you and your lovely wife, and us, you know, traveling back and forth and stuff, and heard the story and all of that. And then I heard the song, and I was like, oh, dude, I hate you. Or what is that one thing that Walt says? Just want to kick his ass. Yeah. Don't you just want to kick his ass? So I'll sing one about a relationship that didn't work. Those are mine. I'm waiting to find my 39 year.
You're practicing.
That's it.
You're practicing.
That's it. No, but this one's a pretty funny story. So I wrote this song with a great songwriter out of Austin, and the song, the line popped in my head because I was in the middle of a relationship that was at that phase where it's ending, but it's not really ending. And it's always someone will, you know, you stop texting or calling for a day or two, and then someone will text, you know, what are you doing? I miss you, or something crazy, just to keep it going, right? For no real reason other than to do that. And it's this game that's being played, and we got to this point where it was like, well, you told me not to text you, so I didn't text you, and then you texted me, so it was just a game thing. So I took the line to Brian and I said, you know, I got this in my head. It's if the game is really over, why are we still keeping the score? And he was like, all right, let's do it. I love this song. So I had a whole story. You know, songwriters were up here, and you know, we're only half full of it. The other half is a little bit true. So I had a whole backstory to the song. I'm ready to, you know, debut this song. I was at Main Street Crossing in Tomball. I was playing with some friends of mine, and I'm gonna debut this song. And she lives not too far from Main Street Crossing. I'm like, there's no way she's gonna come. I get to tell the whole story just down the street.
She showed up.
Well, even better. So they were selling it by the table. This was right around, you know, just at the pandemic's kind of figuring itself out. And the table right in front is occupied. And I'm getting ready to tell this song, and it's her parents and their friends who bought the table. And she didn't show up. There's an empty seat. She didn't show up. So on the fly, I'm just, well, how do I introduce this song? I can't tell.
The story, right?
I can't tell the story. I can't tell the story.
No?
No, couldn't do it. Her parents were great. So it was a whole nother story about something randomly that I just made up that night because I had to do it.
Gotta adjust.
That's it. On the fly. But yeah, this is called The Game. That time when you thought that I was sleeping, I heard you tell your mama on the phone that I could never give you what you needed. Maybe you'd be better off alone. Maybe I forgot about your birthday. Got a little lost on my way home. And maybe I don't ever say the right things. And maybe I don't listen, 'cause I already know if I'm everything you say I am. If your bags are packed and waiting by the door. If the game is really over, then why we keeping score? I don't want to hear that it needs fixing. You don't want to hear me stumbling. At 2 a.m. I'm too gone to remember. Oh, I bet you won't let me forget. If I'm everything you say I am. If your bags are packed and waiting by the door. If the game is really over, then why we keeping score? Yeah, why we keeping score? If I'm everything you say I am. If your bags are packed and waiting by the door. If the game is really over, then why we keeping score? Yeah, and why we keeping score? Yeah, and why we keeping score? Why?
Come on.
Thank you.
Come on. That hook is one of those hooks that you're like, why didn't I think of that like years ago? It's so good.
It's a song born out of textual harassment.
Textual harassment. Oh, you know, you can tell we have another songwriter in the audience coming up with clever stuff like that.
That sounds like a Ron Rose song. You know him, Jim? Yeah, you know, yeah.
This song here is also off this album that I put out back in April. And it kind of flows right off that last song, really. Speaking of a kid having two parents. I wrote this with my friend Helene Cronin. Kind of trying to paint the picture of how dads and moms parent completely different. Somehow it works together in kind of a supernatural way. It's called Dad's Garage and Mom's Kitchen. One bare light bulb hanging from the rafters. The smell of motor oil, sawdust and sweat. Hot rod engines, hammers and wrenches, old spare parts and spare time well spent. But it's 6 o'clock and not a minute after, as supper's ready, call come through the back door screen. Baby's crying, the sizzle of something frying, and Grandma's china if we had some company. From Dad's garage to Mama's kitchen, Might have been just a couple steps apart. You couldn't find two worlds more different than that short walk across a yard. But between carburetors and casseroles, broken hearts and fishing poles, it was always something needed fixing. In Dad's garage, in Mama's kitchen, just an old pine workbench, an old oak dinner table, where we talk pickups, pot roads, politics, and Jesus. Most of our problems back then we could solve them with some grit, a little grace, and a lot of grease. From Dad's garage to Mama's kitchen, might have been just a couple steps apart. You couldn't find two worlds more different than that short walk across a yard. But between carburetors and casseroles, broken hearts and fishing poles, it was always something needed fixing. In Dad's garage and Mama's kitchen, between carburetors and casseroles, broken hearts and fishing poles, it was always something needed fixing. There was always someone there to listen, to pass the 5/8 and pass the chicken. In Dad's garage, in Mama's kitchen, Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Walt Wilkins sang harmony on that on the record for me. I'm very appreciative.
Which is for sale right here. And also on all streaming platforms.
Yes.
We get 1/8 of every cent off of every stream, so
I don't think we get 1/8.
dang, did it drop again?
I think we get 1/80th or 1/800th.
Yeah. So before you go to bed at night, folks out in internet land, put on your favorite streaming service, turn the volume all the way down, and just let that thing roll.
Yes.
Have you seen, that's an actual thing. Have you seen that? These streaming farms? That's ridiculous.
Boy. I have no farm, streaming farm. I have a 5-acre farm in poetry, but I don't have a streaming farm.
Yeah, I think it was like in, India or somewhere where they would go into, and it's just, they buy all these phones and they're just there streaming, just pumping up numbers. That's just in my spare bedroom. I'll play you one that we wrote together because I love this song. Because I have a tendency to write the song from the perspective of, oh, it's my fault. I'm sorry. I must have done something to screw it up. But Scott and I, we drove, how long was that trip to New Mexico?
About 13 hours.
About 13 hours, from poetry. And we were just going through all these songs, and I remember I was on a Jack Ingram type of feel, like this, I'd listened to his latest record, and I'm just like, yeah. And Jack is very unapologetic when he comes to his songs. He's just like, this is it,
That was a cool record too, man.
Yeah.
We went up there for the Red River Songwriter Festival.
Yeah.
And then we also wrote during the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were writing, and I had the idea. I said, I want to write something where it's not like my fault, and maybe it was all the things that she did.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. And So we started just coming up with some ideas, and one of the things was, it was never told you not to leave. And that's just kind of how it finished. And I'm like, I like that. Let's keep it there. So this may or may not be about my ex-wife. I told it last time I told the story here. I was like,
Her parents at the front table, don't tell that story.
Yeah. It's a fictional song based on mostly facts. You said I never bought you roses, standing there bleeding from the thorns. You said I never threw a party for your birthday while I was sweeping up confetti off the floor. You said I never took you anywhere, stepping off the plane back from Mexico. You said I never wrote you a love song while it was playing on your radio. So when you packed that U-Haul up with 5 years, 8 months, 3 days of us, didn't help you pack but didn't hold you back, you finally got something right about me. When you said, I never told you not to leave. Gotta admit it kinda hurt, staring at the truth, who wouldn't know? But right then I knew there was no pleasing you, so I had to give up and let go. So when you packed that U-Haul up with 5 years, 8 months, 3 days of us, didn't help you pack but didn't hold you back, you finally got something right about me. When you said, yeah, when you said, I never told you not to leave. Haul up with 5 years, 8 months, 3 days of us, didn't help you pack but didn't hold you back, you finally got something right about me. When you said, yeah, when you said, yeah, when you said, when you said, I never told you not to leave. Thank you.
I love when you hear a song that you were writing on and you hadn't heard it in a while, and you're like, I like that song. Because that's not always the case. Sometimes you'll hear a song, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, well.
That's how I feel about my whole first record. So you work on the next record and the next record so you don't have to play the stuff off the first one anymore.
Especially in Nashville, we write so many songs. I'm what they call a staff writer up there, and we just write so many songs. And you don't write a great song every day. You just don't. You don't even write a really good song every day. And you write so many, you forget some of them. And so it's nice to hear one out that someone else plays, and you go, oh, man, I'm proud my name is on that song. So this is a song that almost made my first record, and I wrote it with my friend Adam Wheeler. I had this idea somewhere on the highway between Poetry and Nashville, Tennessee. A lot of my songs were born on that highway. It's 9 or 10 hour drive each way, so there's a little bit of time to think about song ideas. And I told Adam that I should write this song with him because he had been married. He's been married like 26 or 27 years. And like I said, I've been married 31. This is called Accident. Might as well buy a ticket. Pick your numbers, you just might hit it. That's the odds of what you stumbled into. Here you are, can't believe it. You didn't want it, but now you need it. You hit the jackpot, lucky you. You fall in love on accident before you know what hit you. You had your heart, then there it went. About the time she kissed you, still gets you. It's gonna take a lot of work, but man, it's worth it. You fall in love on accident, you stay in love on purpose. Well, here it comes, your first fight, first time to admit she's right. Can you be a man when you feel like a fool? And I'm sorry, won't kill you, even if you can't see what the big deal is. Trust me, the making up is cool. You fall in love on accident before you know what hit you. You had your heart, then there it went. About the time she kissed you, still gets you. It's gonna take a lot of work, but man, it's worth it. You fall in love on accident. You stay in love on purpose. When you say it, you mean it, and you do what you say you will. When you love her, treat her, you don't want to lose her. It's more than just something you feel. You fall in love on accident before you know what hit you. You had your heart, then there it went. About the time she kissed you, still gets you. It's gonna take a lot of work, but man, it's worth it. You fall in love on accident. You stay in love on purpose. You stay in love on purpose. You fall in love on accident. You stay in love on purpose. Thank you very much. It's 4 chords and the truth. Is that pop country if it's 4 chords and not 3?
I always lose track of what I'm going to play next because I'm too busy listening to you every time.
I have the same problem, brother.
So I'll do one. I'll do another co-write that I had with Mr. Brian Douglas Phillips. It's another one of my songs that'll be coming out. Yeah, he's great. Have you had the opportunity yet?
Yeah, we wrote.
Nice.
We just wrote a song like a month and a half, 2 months ago. Yeah.
He's a beast, and a great steel player too.
Yeah, he plays everything so good.
But this is one I took to him, and you know, when you co-write with writers who are a little bit more seasoned than you always try to come up with the idea, right, out of respect. So try to always go to him with an idea or at least a line or two just to kind of get the wheels turning. And we were talking about, you know, what's going on in my world, and I had thrown it out there like I had this, and it's just, you know, only got myself to blame really for a lot of it. Whether it's, you know, just procrastinating and not writing as much as I should, or sleeping in when I really shouldn't, and not putting the work in, or in both relationships and this whole songwriting thing. Sometimes you just don't want to do it. But, you know, I told him, you know, I just only have myself to blame, really. So we came up with this one together. Only got myself to blame. Oh, that's not it. I'm still thinking about the other one. There it is, okay. So you write with the same co-writers and they start to run together. Only got myself to blame. Like a beggar back out on the street again. Serving 99 to life and still just counting down the days. Hoping that the winds are gonna change. Only got myself to blame. Stuck out in the desert and praying for a little rain. Like a drowning man who just keeps swimming toward the wave. Hoping that the winds are gonna change. I swore I wouldn't let her in, wouldn't go down this road again. I swore I wouldn't drop the guard around my heart, but the walls are crumbling. And I know better, 'cause it always ends the same. Only got myself to blame. Only got myself to blame. She came in spinning out of control like a hurricane. I let her pick me up and just carry me away. She made a mess of everything. I swore I wouldn't let her in, wouldn't go down this road again. I swore I wouldn't drop the guard around my heart, but the walls are crumbling. And I know better, 'cause it always ends the same. I know better, 'cause it always ends the same. You know that I have been here before, and you know that I'll come back for more. I never learned to learn from my mistakes. I swore I wouldn't let her in, wouldn't go down this road again. I swore I wouldn't drop the guard around my heart, but the walls are crumbling. And I know better, 'cause it always ends the same. I know better, 'cause it always ends the same. Only got myself to blame. Only got myself to blame.
Man, so many
Thank
good
you.
lines in that song. What's the drowning man still swimming towards the wave? And the never learned to learn from my mistakes. Yeah, that pisses me off. Why did I come play this show? No, I'm just playing. Man, I love that song. I love it the first time you played it, man. I was like, hey. I think that was one of the first songs you wrote with Brian Douglas Phillips.
That was the very first one,
Yeah. I remember, oh, hey, who's that guy? I mean, I knew him, but I didn't know. I didn't know that. So, man, so much good stuff in there, dude. It's great. You got to make this second record. Stop messing around.
I know.
You only got yourself to blame.
Yeah. that in my bank account.
You know, small details like that. You know,
yeah.
money. This song here, I was driving down the road one day. I was in my 20s somewhere. And I had this memory pop in my head that I hadn't thought about in years. It just popped in my head out of the blue. And it was this day that my dad had picked me up from school, and we were driving home. And we were on Ranchero Road in Kerrville, Texas. This is where I grew up. And we were driving home in the El Camino. And it was the last day I said the N-word. We're going down the road, and I had heard some boy at school call one of my friends that day. And I hadn't heard it before, so I asked my dad, "What's a oop?" And he grabbed my arm, and he pulled that El Camino over the side of the road and skidded in the gravel a little bit. And he gave me this 2 or 3 minute speech about race and the color of a man's skin, and how it doesn't matter, and you don't ever say that word. And I mean, just lit into me. And when I have this memory in my 20s, I mean, that was something really good he did for me. But the problem was that this was the same guy who had pulled his fist back and his hand back and hit my mom and beat my mom. And so when I remember this in my 20s, to be honest with you, it kind of pissed me off. Because I wanted that guy to just stay all bad. I wanted to just hate him. And when I had that memory that day, I was like, well, he did something good for me. And not something a little bit good. He did something majorly good for me. He shaped the way I see race for the rest of my life. And so, like I said, that was in my 20s. It was kind of the beginning of me dealing with all the insanity that you can imagine surrounded that kind of environment growing up, and reconciling how complicated people are. And I wrote this song when I was 40 years old. I couldn't have written it when I was in my 20s or when I was 30 or 35. I didn't see things this way. It took me a while to get here. And it took me about 6-7 months to write the song. And it is the title track from my record, and every word of it is true. My daddy hit my mama on more than one occasion, but he also saved my ass a time or two. To this day, I ain't quite sure if I love him or hate him. Through these tinted windows, it's hard to see the truth. Of all the things he said to me, what he never said hurt worse. But not everything he said led me the wrong way. Like the time I heard that boy at school call my friend the N-word. When I asked my daddy what that meant, he slammed on his brakes, pulled right over, said, "Son, hear me good now. Don't you ever let that word come out your mouth." Go figure. Some people run with the devil and walk with Jesus. At their best, they are your heroes, and at their worst, they are your demons. I guess in the end, you have to call it even. My mama hit the bottle till the bottle hit her back. That was the only fight she ever lost. Man, I wish you could have known her back before all that. You'd have seen the southern angel who carried my cross. She was the only thing between me and hell. And all the while she was drowning herself. Some people run with the devil and maybe there's something in my voice, something in my choices, something in my walk, my talk, my way. I just don't know, but gotta hope not. And gotta hope so. 'Cause at their best, they were my heroes, and at their worst, they are my demons. I guess in the end, I have to call it even. Call it even. My daddy hit my mom on more than one occasion, but he also saved my ass a time or two. Thank you very much. One of those songs you got to live to write.
Absolutely. That one gets me every time, man.
Me too.
And I thought you were going to make the cover of this record the photo of you.
When I was a kid?
Yeah.
It's on the back.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going to make it the cover,
For
man.
those of you who have my CD, the little Polaroid that's on the back is me when I was probably 7, 8, 9 years old, outside the 10 by 14 foot trailer that I grew up in for several years growing up in Kerrville, South. And I did say 10 by 14 feet travel trailer, yes. That's where all that violence started. Yeah. Good times, man.
I'll play this one. This song's called Jackie. This is a really cool song that a dear friend of mine brought to me. It's completely... wasn't finished. It was a little, pieces here and there. Definitely not in my feel. She had it in like a blues song. But it was one of those co-writes where I'm just like, man, I like the where you went with that, and if we can just kind of add to it, I think you got something. And I've been playing it ever since. It's just one of my favorite to pick on.
It's called Jackie?
It's called Jackie. Jackie lives in Tulsa for only half the week. Filled up with a beehive, her words stinging when she speaks. Some days she's down in Texas, most days she's in between. And I'd love her if she'd let me, but she said love don't mean a thing. And Jackie, I don't feel right. I keep shaking with the sunrise. Used to look at me like the moon was full. Now you won't look me in the eyes. And Jackie, I don't feel right. I wonder if you still care. 'Cause every time we were home alone, it was like you were never here. And Jackie says that everyone dies a little bit every night. And in the morning they're reborn, hoping today they can get it right. She boasts about the universe and how it treats her right. Can't wait to see the other side, but can't pick sides to save a life. And Jackie, I don't feel right. I keep shaking with the sunrise. Used to look at me like the moon was full. Now you won't look me in the eyes. And Jackie, I don't feel right. I wonder if you still care. 'Cause every time we were home alone, it was like you were never here. Now Jackie's back in Texas and her car is in my drive. Said she'd never leave with leaving always on her mind. I don't know if she's coming back or if she was ever here. Just a waste of time and all my dimes, it's almost been a year. And Jackie, I don't feel right. I keep shaking with the sunrise. Used to look at me like the moon was full. Now you won't look me in the eyes. And Jackie, I don't feel right. I wonder if you still care. 'Cause every time we were home alone, it was like you were never here. And every time I see you lately, it's like you were never here. Thank you.
Dude, I love that. Who'd you write that with?
That came from Miss Kayla Joe.
Who?
Her name is Kayla Joe.
Come on.
It's an East
Bunch of
Texas
good lines in
songwriter.
that too. You should do the songwriting thing. You should dive into it and you're trying to make a career out of it. You should try to get gigs like the Mucky Duck and stuff.
Yeah. No, but that one is that's all her, man. Her mind, the way that it works and the way that she puts stuff together is really cool. And I admire her songwriting. She's got a killer voice too.
I love it. I ain't saying that to be nice to you. This song here I wrote with my friends Barrett Baber and Terry Joe Box. One day at Barrett's house, Terry Joe and I were down in the basement and waiting for Barrett because he was getting his 3-year-old daughter. She was 3 at the time. She's 7 now, maybe close to 8. He was getting her ready for daycare, and as he tells the story, he was trying to convince his 3-year-old daughter not to wear high heels to daycare. And somewhere in that process, he goes, "God bless the boy." Right? If anybody has daughters, you know that feeling, right? And I have 2 daughters. They're a little further down the road than Barrett's. Mine are 31 and 28. But so when he got her off the daycare, he came down the stairs and he said, "Hey, what about a title, God Bless the Boy, about my daughter?" So that's what we tackled that day. I was all about it, obviously, because I had 2 daughters. So there's a little bit of his daughter in here, and there's a little bit of my 2 daughters, and there's some of my son-in-laws in here. And there's definitely some of my wife and I's prayer in here. And what I mean by that is, I don't know how it is with boys, but I know that when you have daughters and they get to be in junior high, high school, you pray really, really hard for them to find a good man. Especially when you have, something like Brenda and I have, and been together for decades. You want your daughters to have that. And so you pray really hard. So that definitely ended up in this song. And I've been going back and forth to Nashville for 17 years, once or twice a month. For the last 3.5 years, it's been twice a month, every month. This is the first song I had recorded by somebody famous. Mr. Cody Johnson put this out on his new album that came out a week ago Friday. And he recorded another song of mine also that I don't know if I'll have time to play tonight or not, but that one's called Made a Home. And thank you, Cody Johnson. Thank you, Jesus. Not in that order. And I hope this song pays off my house. She won't let me help her tie her shoes. No, Daddy, I can do it myself. When she don't get her way, she'll cross her arms and hold her breath. She's a handful, she's a mess, digging in the dirt in her princess dress. Goes from tiny tornado to sleeping on my chest. God bless the boy that melts the way I do. When she smiles at him the first time he'll be done, yeah, he'll be through. Give him patience and kindness and a heart that's full of hope, and the sense to know what she's worth. 'Cause ain't nobody ever gonna be good enough. So God bless the boy she decides to love. Hope his daddy's teaching him how to shake my hand and look me in the eye, taking him fishing and busting his butt when he ain't acting up. Hope he's in every prayer his mama says, learns to work for every dollar he gets, and has a sense of humor, gonna need it for a girl like this. God bless the boy that melts the way I do. When she smiles at him the first time he'll be done, yeah, he'll be through. Give him patience and kindness and a heart that's full of hope, and the sense to know what she's worth. 'Cause ain't nobody ever gonna be good enough. So God bless the boy she decides to love. God bless the boy that melts the way I do. When she smiles at him the first time he'll be done, yeah, he'll be through. There ain't nobody ever gonna be good enough. So God bless the boy she decides to love. God bless the boy she decides to love. Thank you very much.
Boy.
No, I got to tell you, when I got the, I think it was, you sent me a text. It's a confidential text. Super top secret. And you told me that Cody and his team were looking at the song and that they had talked about, you know, putting it on the record. And then you sent me another follow-up text that it was going to make it. I was like, fist pumping in my living room. I'm like, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool, dude. Very thankful.
Well deserved. That's a beautiful, beautiful song, and couldn't happen to a better person, better songwriter, dear friend. And I'm so glad that I got to share the stage with you tonight. I'm so glad that I got to bring you to Houston and have you join me on this stage. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for you and your songs.
Can I also encourage everyone who's watching online, like, if there's a way to tip Mucky Duck, please do.
Oh, sure.
For having us here tonight.
Absolutely. Yep. The Duck, just like all the other places in the city and in the country, or they're trying to keep it together, and I'm so grateful that I get to come and be on this stage, and then of course so grateful and blessed that this room made it. There are not a lot of them that did. There are a lot of really good rooms that didn't make it out of 2020, and
and especially rooms that love songwriters and support songwriters.
Absolutely.
Come out here and play our own songs. Like, that's a special, magical thing, and I cannot tell you how much we appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm sure Rusty could have brought them in with a bunch of TVs with the Stros playing tonight, but they're very special people, and
the Astros are playing. Wait,
yeah,
never mind.
And very, very, yeah, right. Oh, man. See, and that's why I was like, well, I get to play Tuesday. Astros are going to play. I'm like, maybe they'll pull it out if I just don't watch. If I don't watch, maybe they'll be okay. So if they win tonight, someone just tell me how the rest of it all goes, because I'm not going to watch. But this was one that came out of right when the pandemic started. Not really a song about anybody in particular, but just kind of missing being around songwriters and friends and the type of encouragement and everything that you get. But then, you know, of course, I turned it into a relationship song. When I wake up in the blue light of the morning, somewhere between my first and second coffee, is when I start to miss you. I still can't sleep on your side of the bed. When I finally leave the house and go for that afternoon drive, hit the brakes between a yellow and a red light, I'm still reaching for you and praying to God we can make it out alive. And it's times like this I'm tired of being lonely, scared to death, not knowing if you're fine. And whoever he is, he better love you like I would if you were still mine. When the sun starts to set and it glows on your side of the couch, I find myself still looking for that pretty little smile, and I start to break down, not knowing if I'll see it again. And it's times like this I'm tired of being lonely, scared to death, not knowing if you're fine. And whoever he is, he better love you like I would if you were still mine. So I sold that bed and I wrecked that car. I finally threw that couch out there in the yard. 'Cause it's times like this I'm tired of being lonely and scared to death, not knowing if you're fine. And whoever he is, he better love you like I would. And yeah, whoever he is, he better love you like I would if you were still mine. Yeah, if you were mine. And whoever he is, he better love you like I would if you were still mine. Thank you.
Singing ass fool. Golly, what a voice. This song here is also on this little songwriter record I made. I also wrote this with Helene Cronin, who I wrote Dad's Garage and Mama's Kitchen with. She saw a hashtag on the internet that said hashtag humankind. And I'm so thankful she brought it to write with me. And we sat there and talked for a little about how to write it for a little while. because we didn't want it to sound like a cheesy Hallmark card, which is easy to do when you're writing songs. And so we talked about people we knew and incidences we knew of people being kind. We talked about her oldest daughter, who was a hospice caregiver for a while. And that kind of turned into our first verse. We talked about getting bullied a little bit because, as I like to say, I was not always 6'4" and 235. And I grew late. And when I grew, I had a different heart for the kids who had not grown yet. And so that kind of turned into our second verse. And then we also talked about my brother Joey a lot that day. My brother Joey passed away in 2016. This was middle of 2018 when we wrote this song. So about 2.5 years after he had passed away. Joey had Down syndrome and lived with me and my family most of my adult life. And we talked about him a lot that day because anybody that's been around kids with Down syndrome know that there's nobody better at being kind, at being a good human, than those kids right there. So that's why we talked about him a lot that day. And I remember putting on Facebook the first day we worked on the song, I said, Joey was in the room a lot today, and I was okay. And what I meant by that was it was the first time I had talked about Joey that much, and I felt like I might collapse. And that was a good thing. So Joey didn't end up in the actual lyric of the song, but he's definitely in the song. He's an old man, a hard man, who can't hold on to nothing. Not his razor, not his temper, not his tongue. She's a young nurse, a sweet girl, who comes in every morning, makes his bed, shaves his face, cleans him up. She's been there 3 years now, ain't seen a one of his kids ever come around. So she drives in on the Sundays off to play a game of gin and take him for a walk. And for a little while, he forgets to be mad. He remembers how to tell a joke and make a pretty girl laugh. The hurt goes away and the lonely fades with just a smile and the gift of a little time. Nothing eases human pain like human kind. She's the new kid in a new town for the third time in 2 years. In high school can be cruel when you're different. He can tell when she walks in, she's a trust nobody who could use a friend. He takes a seat beside her no one wants to take, and in the lunchroom, that's a pretty big thing. And for a little while, she forgets to be scared. She remembers for a minute what it's like to fit in somewhere. The hurt goes away and the lonely fades with just a smile and the gift of a little time. Nothing eases human pain like human kind. It don't take much to help someone, to save someone. 'Cause for a little while we forget to give up. We remember what it's like when someone walks this road with us. The hurt goes and the lonely fades with just a smile and the gift of a little time. Nothing eases human pain like human kind.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna do a whole record of just Scott Sean White, Helene Cronin co-writes.
Covers.
That's it.
I think she and I have written something like 40 songs together or something. She's so good.
She is. This is one of my favorite. We have some really good ones that I just can't figure out yet. And it's driving me crazy. You know, you sit and you co-write with some folks and you come up with really good songs and I'm like, I love that song. But I don't know if I could perform it and do it justice. I'm still working on it. We got some really good ones. I just got to find my own way of doing it because I hear her in my mind singing it, and I just want to hear her sing it. I don't want to hear myself sing the damn song. This is one I did by myself, and I was fortunate enough to grow up in the Rio Grande Valley and a farming family, both sides of it, and it was really it was a blessed and a really cool childhood that I had, and it was just a piece of wisdom that I took from an uncle of mine that told me one day we were in the middle of harvest and it was hot and sweaty and nasty, and he was a full-time firefighter, and I had asked him why he was still out there and doing this, and he said, sometimes we do things as men to be enough. And I just kind of always remembered that he said it, never really understood the meaning behind it until I got married and had a child and did the 9 to 5, and I really figured out that there are a lot of times you do things just hoping that it's enough. And this was one that came out of it. I had the picture in my mind of both sets of my grandparents waking up in the morning and kind of how that went right before they went about their day in the middle of harvest season. Honey, I'm going to try and sell a load of something that I harvested early in the morning before you were up. And I left some coffee warming for you in the pot, 'cause I know you'll need it first thing in the morning when the kids get up. And would you say a little prayer that it yields just enough to be enough? If you don't mind, dear, could I ask you for another day where you keep it all together and pray for clear weather while I'm away? And I know this season has been harder than the one before, but I'll work it even longer to try to one day afford not to have to say a little prayer that it's enough to be enough. Enough to make it through another long winter and try to help my brother out. His farm has been in better days than it's in now. If we can make it to another hot summer, it'll be our Independence Day, when we won't have to worry if the kids will be okay. We'll just say a little prayer and give thanks that it's enough to be enough. I'm headed home now, and marker seems to serve to remind me of all the little prayers you've said over the years, that my truck may make it and I can somehow outrun the storm, and that all this time away from you is worth fighting for. So won't you wear down another couple beads on that rosary for me, and pray that it's enough to make it through another long winter, and try to help my brother out. His farm has been in better days than it's in now. If we can make it to another hot summer, it'll be our Independence Day, when we won't have to worry if the kids will be okay. We'll just say a little prayer and give thanks that it's enough. We'll say a little prayer and give thanks to the Lord above, that it's enough. We'll say a little prayer and give thanks that it's enough to be enough.
That's good stuff, man.
Thank you.
Is that on your first record?
Yes, it is.
You're not tired of playing that one?
I like that one.
Yeah. I like that.
Hey, man, 1 out of 14 ain't bad. No, but I think we got time for you to do one more.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Scott Sean White, thank you again to Monkey Duck for having
Thank
me.
you.
And letting me invite my dear friend to come and share this stage with me. And for all the subscribers to the Mucky Duck channel, Scott's going to have a very special song for you guys when we come back. And thank you, everyone, for coming and hanging out with us tonight, enjoying the great food that the Mucky Duck has to offer. And please, everyone out there in internet land, support the Mucky Duck, support your rooms, support your restaurants and small businesses. It really helps us in rooms like this, who are such big advocates for singers and songwriters. We can't thank them enough. So please show your support and your love. And
Amen.
once again, Mr. Scott Sean White.
I'll leave the smoke and take the high. I'll leave the whiskey and take the fire. I'll leave the stage and take the rush. I'll leave the fame and take the love. I'll leave the house and take the home. I'll leave this guitar and I'll take these songs. I'll leave the highway and take the freedom. I'll leave the church pew and take the Jesus. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's what I take. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's what I'll take with me when I go. I'll leave the bull and take the truth. I'll leave every grudge I ever held on to. I'll leave the times I fell flat on my face and take the guts it took to try in the first place. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's what I'll take. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's what I'll take with me when I go. with me when I go. I'll take the day we said I do, and all the tears I was looking at you through as you came walking down the aisle. The look in your eyes, man, that smile. Whoa, 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 that's what I'll take. Whoa, 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 that's what I'll take with me when I go. With me when I go. Thank you very much.
That's it.
Man, I appreciate it. Put a chorus pedal on there.
Yeah, no. Scott Sean White, everybody.